Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be a chronic illness day in the life, but I'm going to do this one a little bit different as it is already 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to I'm skipping over all the mundane, regular stuff that I do every day. And usually when I do a day in the life, that's all included. But today I wanted to focus on more of the chronic illness aspect of today. Like today I have a cardiologist appointment, so I'm going to take you along with me for that. I'm going to share some updates from my past appointment. I had an appointment on June 5th. I did a whole day in the life for that, but I didn't explain much because I didn't have any answers. And now at this point, I have more to explain and some answers for that. And then I'm going to talk to my cardiologist today about that stuff as well. And I will probably update you after my cardiologist appointment on how that went. So, yeah. Let's jump right in. Okay, so before every doctor's appointment, I fill out a doctor visit prep page. These are always available on my Etsy, but I have a slot that says doctor. I do the date and the time. This appointment got rescheduled on me, so I ended up scribbling some of that out and putting the new one. There was a reason for the visit, and I try to explain it as much as I can. And I write all my issues down on there. Then I do my meds list and my questions. And then on the back, since I was going to see my cardiologist, there's Chicky Nuggy. I have my blood pressure and pulse readings. That way, if they ask, I can pull out the last 2 weeks and go, here, this is what it was. But I always try to do this at least the day before. Okay, since my cardiologist appointment isn't till 3:15, we don't have to leave for another 30 minutes. I figured I would go on and give the update from my doctor's appointment on June 5th. If you didn't watch that video, then you don't know that I was kind of hiding it from everyone because I was thinking it was going to pass, and I just didn't know what was going on. But I was having random, like my legs would completely, all of a sudden they would feel like jello, then they would go numb, pins and needles, and I couldn't feel them at all. And I felt like I was going to collapse. I did that. I was having random abdominal pain. Honestly, that's nothing new for me. I've been dealing with that for a while now. I've been seeing a GI for the last 6 months, and we are finally getting somewhere on that, but that's completely off topic. My fatigue was getting worse, like extremely worse, to the point I could sleep 12 hours a day and still feel like I needed 12 more hours. And it didn't matter what I did. So, yeah. Then all of that, on top of all of that, I was having random blackouts. I wasn't passing out. I know the difference between passing out and a blackout, because yeah, I have POTS. I've done it before. But
I just started randomly, it was like blanking. I would completely blank. I would not be, it was like I was physically somewhere, but I wasn't physically there. And I didn't know where I was at, and I didn't remember anything. And then finally, I would, a few minutes or a few seconds to, like 30 seconds to a minute later, I would wake up, but I didn't know where I was. So, and then about 30 seconds to 2 minutes to a minute later, I realized where I was again. So, yeah, severe fatigue, random blackouts, my legs feeling like jello, and then feeling like they were going to completely give out on me. That's what I went to the doctor for on June 5th. We did all types of blood work. The only thing that showed on my blood work was that my iron level is lower end of normal. My doctor wants it between 30 and 120. Mine is at 40. And my ferritin level is high. It's supposed to, I don't even remember. I know the high number on the scale was like 150, and mine is at like 189. That and my platelets being elevated was the only things that came back abnormal. But my doctor's like, okay, I don't want to start you on iron treatments with a ferritin that high, because it's possible that you would boost your ferritin and not boost your iron level. So we're trying to we're going to redo blood in about a month or so and figure out and go from there on that.
Okay, so it is later, as you can tell. I'm in the car. I had an appointment, and then my dad had a therapy appointment, so we just kind of did that. My mom went with me to mine, and now she's taking Dad to therapy. So I decided I'd wait out in the car while they were doing that, but I didn't get to finish what I was talking about earlier because my camera died. But basically, with all the blood work, except for the iron level being low and the ferritin being high and my platelets being high, nothing showed on the blood work. And we had, so what we decided to do, if all that was normal, was for me to do a week off of my propranolol, or the beta blocker I'm on, thinking, okay, that's what is causing these issues. So I did a whole week off of my beta blocker. No change whatsoever. So after that, I talked to my doctor. He gave me the okay to go back on my propranolol, and he said, I don't know. He told me he didn't know of anything else he could do for me. He didn't know what was causing my issues and all that. He said the low iron is a complete separate issue. There's no way that would be causing every single one of my symptoms. And if it is, we'll figure it out next month. Because I have been anemic before. I've been on iron supplements, and we know that I'm one of those people. I either absorb the iron super well, no problem whatsoever, or I don't absorb it at all. But he said, we'll deal with that later. He said, when you go to your cardiologist, mention this stuff to him. And we were pretty much at that point figured, I'm probably in a flare. Today, I saw the cardiologist. Sorry, I'm getting notifications on my screen. But basically, the cardiologist is just, he doesn't know what to do for me. And he's been talking the last 3 times I've seen him about me going back to neurology and me or like, because I have a neurologist, but I go once a year, kind of check in on how I'm doing with my POTS and all my issues, and we go from there. And I see her that next year. But I've already had my yearly with her. And now my cardiologist is like, okay, we need to send you back to neurology. And we need to redo an MRI of your brain and figure out if you're having seizures. Because I was telling him about my blackouts, and he said, it's possible your blackouts are focal seizures and not like passing out or fainting. But he said the only way to figure that out is to figure out if maybe my blood pressure is dropping and I'm tanking and I'm just passing out from that. So he's going to taper me off of my Mestinon, but I'm going to start taking midodrine or midodrine. Yeah, midodrine. So I'm starting on midodrine while he tapers me off my Mestinon, and I'm supposed to decrease my propranolol back to 10 milligrams and yeah, basically it's figuring out my medications, figuring out if it's my meds that's causing me these issues or if I am having focal seizures. But he said I could go have the EEGs, and I've had one, but he said unless I'm having problems there while I'm at the hospital having the test done, it's not going to show up. And he said it happens more often than you would think with focal seizures, that you have seizures, but they're not being caught on EEGs. And I'm not at a higher enough risk because it's a focal seizure and not like a tonic-clonic or a grand mal seizure that Like, I'm not jerking around. So I'm at a lesser chance of hurting myself than I would be if I was, because it's a focal seizure, than I would be if it was a different type of seizure. But he said, for right now, we're going to focus on POTS, and we're going to focus on heart rate and blood pressures. And if I'm still having blackouts, and he does think my blackouts are full on passing out, because he told me that you don't have to pee yourself to pass out. Even though my other doctor had kind of mentioned that you kind of have to be losing control of your bladder when you pass out for it to be considered passing out. But he said any type of being unconscious is passing out. It's just figuring out what's causing it. And then if I'm still having blackouts in 3 months when I see him in September, but he said if I'm still having blackouts in September when I go back to see him, at that point I will be put on, we're going to try Keppra, and I will have another MRI of my brain. Because he also said he's seen it where people think they have POTS, but what they really have is MS. And it just hasn't been seen before on the testing. And I haven't had an MRI of my brain since 2016. So 9 years. So it's about time to have another one. He said, honestly, I'm overdue to have another one. But the reason I've had that first one was for dizziness, so it just hasn't crossed anybody's mind. Without me being dizzy all the time, and they don't think about it, so they don't think, okay, let's recheck her brain. But yeah. That's what we're doing. We're trying new meds, changing up my meds a little bit. I'm going to have pharmacogenetic testing to see how my body metabolizes my meds. More specifically, how my body is metabolizing my beta blockers. But yeah, not much changed. And he wanted to do a 4 to 6 month follow-up, and I've noticed with him that he says we'll do 4 to 6 months, and he doesn't get me, and he doesn't follow up. He doesn't have me get in for follow-up until 6 months. And I would rather ask him for a 3-month follow-up and get in 3 months. That way, if something is going on or if something is changing, we're nipping it in the butt sooner than later. Okay, so every night, well, almost every night, I go through my chronic illness binder, and I keep a page. It's just like a notebook piece of paper, and I write on it, and I keep notes of how I felt that day, my symptoms that day, what emergency meds I had to take, all of that stuff. And sometimes I do take this to the doctor. Usually I do it when I go see my primary care doctor, because he goes over everything with me. Sometimes I'll do it when I go see my cardiologist, and if I ever go see anyone, I take this with me as well. But since this is a chronic illness day in the life, I figured I would kind of share with you how I do this. Okay, so it's been a few days since I've done this because I haven't had any real issues, but today was a bad day for me, so I am going to go through and make sure I write that in. I just write the date and then write any symptoms. I'm also going to put away my prep page and wherever it friggin' went. And my after visit summary, if I can find it. My brain fog today is real. Oh. Nugget was setting on it. But I tried, I've done a video on this binder before, and I will link it, but I have it organized to where doctors' appointments get stored in here, and I have a section for each different doctor. So I put the after visit summary, but this gets stored in my cardiologist section, and yeah, like I said, I'll leave this video linked if you want to see how I organize this binder. And honestly, I could probably do an update on it. So yeah, if you want an updated video on how I organize my chronic illness binder, then let me know. But now that stuff's done, so I'm going to refill my pill organizer. Okay, so I got a new pill organizer because Nugget broke my old one, and I also take meds 4 times a day now, so I needed to upgrade a while back. But let's fill this up. Okay, so basically to finish this video off, I'm going to have blood work next month for my primary care doctor to figure out what's going on with my iron levels. I'm going to have pharmacogenetic testing to see how my body is processing medications, specifically my beta blockers. I'm changing up some of my meds. I'm being put on a new med for my POTS. And then I will follow up with him in 3 months. So in September. But yeah. It's boring, but that's what my life looks like with a chronic illness. Sometimes it's appointments, testing, figuring out what's actually going on, and I'm going to have either way, I'm going to be seeing doctors the rest of my life. It was funny because he said, I'm going to help you. I'm going to fix you, and I'm going to do this before I retire. And he said, in 30 years. So, I have 30 years to deal with this doctor to figure something out. If he doesn't kill me, or if this disease doesn't kill me first. But honestly, like, even though I know POTS hasn't killed anybody, sometimes it feels like it could kill me. But yeah, either way, I have another appointment in September. We're going to go from there. So that's it for today's chronic illness day in the life. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the red subscribe button down below, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.